Welcome to your custom deep dive. Today's mission is, well, we're looking at this fascinating academic synthesis on how authors use the supernatural, and not just as escapism, but to expose the crushing machinery of the modern world.
Right, because the true horror in modern literature isn't really a ghost in the attic anymore. It's urbanization. It's capitalism.
Yeah, the glass and steel skyscraper you commute to every day is actually the monster.
Exactly. They use magic for what literary theorists call the Hermeneutic Circle. Basically, by injecting a cursed object into a totally mundane setting, they break the laws of reality just enough to force you to see the real-world truths.
It kind of jolts you out of your complacency.
Right. You're forced to look at the systems you normally just ignore.
Which really explains why, monsters moved out of Gothic castles and straight into crowded cities during the 20th century. The city itself became the supernatural engine.
Oh, totally. Look at Fritz Leiber's novel, Our Lady of Darkness. He introduces this wild concept of mega-palisamancy.
Mega-palisamancy.
Yeah, it's the idea that the sheer physical weight and electrical density of a modern city like San Francisco accidentally breeds these things called paramentals.
Paramentals, so like elemental monsters.
Sort of, but they're these blind, destructive monsters made entirely out of city detritus, tightly compacted paper, soot, trash.
Okay, let's unpack this. So Leiber City is kind of like a leaky battery, right? Just spawning these accidental pollution monsters.
Yes, but then you contrast that with something more deliberate, like the Ghostbusters universe.
Oh, right, Ivo Shandor.
Exactly. He's the architect who deliberately builds a Manhattan skyscraper with a pure selenium core.
A building specifically engineered to act as an occult antenna to summon Gozer. So it's a deliberately weaponized apocalypse machine.
Yeah, it's a corporate machine built to drill for evil. The city either accidentally breeds horror through sheer density, or it's intentionally built to amplify it.
And if cities are these macro-level traps, then cursed artifacts are like micro-level conduits. They exploit human obsession.
They do, because, it makes sense that a whole city can crush you. But it's almost scarier when that same capitalist machinery fits right in your pocket. Like Leiber's Morphy watch.
That's the supernatural pocket watch that grants you unparalleled chess genius.
Right. But the mechanism of the magic is what really matters here.
Yeah.
Gives you genius, but it infects you with the crushing paranoia of its original owner, Paul Morphy.
So it's a perfect mirror for modern hustle culture. I mean, You get the power, but it drains your sanity and your humanity to fuel itself.
Exactly.
But wait, here's where it gets really interesting to me. I'm thinking about Dashiell Hammett's The Maltese Falcon right now.
Oh, yeah.
That bird statue is literally just painted lead. It's completely worthless. Does a cursed object even need actual magic to destroy someone?
Not at all. That's the brilliant part.
Mm-hmm.
Both objects exploit human hubris. We think we can harness the genius of the watch or the wealth of the falcon, but the object always consumes the owner.
So the illusion of control is the real curse.
Right. The fake magic of the falcon ruins just as many lives through sheer capitalist greed as the watch's real magic does.
The artifact just makes the greed visible. Now, in those stories, the supernatural is this horrific intrusion into our world. But Latin American magic realism kind of flips that dynamic entirely, doesn't it?
It really does. It uses magic to expose political absurdity.
Yeah.
Gabriel Garcia Marquez does this brilliantly in 100 Years of Solitude.
Right, in the town of Macondo.
Yeah, where levitating women and ghosts are just everyday occurrences. By making the magic totally mundane, Marquez is building a specific architecture of believability. He basically conditions you, the reader, to accept the impossible as fact.
So when the real horror happens...
The massacre.
Right, this sudden, jarring government cover-up of a massacre of striking workers by a foreign banana company, it hits with incredible force.
Because you're so used to ghosts being real, the sudden systematic erasure of historical truth by the state feels uniquely disorienting.
The government is essentially saying, don't believe your own eyes.
And that historical gaslighting becomes the most surreal, terrifying part of the book.
The everyday magic is simply the contrasting background that makes the violent absurdity of the regime visible. And, we don't even need to take modern political sides to see how the author is showing that the state manipulates reality to protect industrial interests. It's just right there in the text.
Exactly. We're just looking at the mechanism. And these texts really prove that speculative fiction isn't just entertainment. It's a diagnostic tool.
It unmasks our own anxieties about industrialization, greed, and, misinformation.
Yeah. Authors have always built these architectures of believability to trick us into seeing the truth. H.P. Lovecraft famously used the concept of the false document.
Oh, the Necronomicon.
Right, he created a fake grimoire and referenced it alongside real history so seamlessly that readers couldn't tell where reality ended and fiction began.
Which leaves you with a pretty wild thought. If authors used fake books to build belief back then, how is the concept of the false document being used right now in our digital era?
That's a good question.
Think about how modern architectures of believability are being constructed in your feed every single day. Are the documents you're reading exposing the machinery, or are they part of it?